Well guys, second hurricane of the year's finally moved out, but it's still cloudy and overcast, so it's too wet to do anything in the fields today, ain't it? Not for these guys, it's not going to be. That drone's been through a few acres, hasn't it?
Yeah, one or two. Been around a while.
All right, folks, who we got here with us is Alex and Ron from AirGrow. Where y'all based out of?
We're out of Washington, Missouri.
Washington, Missouri?
Yes, sir.
Was that just north of the Boot Hill or so?
No, we're actually about an hour east or hour west of St. Louis.
Okay.
So we're pretty good ways up in Missouri.
I hear you. So y'all, obviously y'all down in West Tennessee, you must cover a pretty good area.
Yeah, there's if we have the right situation, there isn't many places we won't go. We'll pretty well run anywhere.
Got you. So anyway, what they're doing today, because we just got another 3.5 inches from Hurricane Helene. We've got, it doesn't look like it right here, but this is some of our early season soybeans, and if you remember, we had to replant a bunch of them. We got a whole lot of green out there that's not doing anything in a hurry about getting ready. We got to get these beans harvested before we get started picking cotton. So I hollered at these guys. They're going to come down here. They're going to spray my beans, and then after we get done spraying beans, they're going to swap this thing over and start spreading some cover crop for me up in the city limits of Jackson that our regular crop duster pilot didn't want to do. Alex, tell me a little bit about the drone we got here. What we looking at?
So this here is a DJI T30. We run T30, T40, and we have a T50. This deal's set up on a herbicide. We're gonna run it today. It's a little smaller of the 3 drones. We can get about 8 gallons of payload in here in our tank. We've got T nozzles coming off of here. That's gonna be just like your typical spray nozzle, a little different than the T40 and T50 setup. But that's what we chose today. We thought that was our best option for what we're doing out here today. All
right, so you say you're going to be putting out 4 gallons an acre, so we're going to have to be filling up every 2 acres, and it's going to take about 20 fill-ups to get this, or 21 fill-ups to get this 43 acre farm done.
Yes, sir. So pretty well every fill-up will come back, obviously fill the tank and swap out a battery. Every flight will take us somewhere right around 7 minutes from time of land to time to take back off, give or take, depending on the flight.
Gotcha. Well, hopefully this sun pops out at some point today where it takes up the herbicide a little bit better and gets started working. So let's get this thing loaded up and in the air.
Absolutely.
Now, I sent y'all my shapefile boundaries a few days ago, so I'm assuming you've already got all them loaded up there on the controller and everything.
That's what I'm doing right now.
So and then it does what, an automatic flight plan based on your parameters you set and everything.
Yeah. Fields are mapped, and then I just orient where I want to run my swaths at, and then if there's obstacles, we can map them in, and then other than that, it picks its flight paths, and it runs set on our swath widths that we set, and it works back and forth. This one runs down, and it'll shift over, and it'll come backwards down the field. It doesn't turn around.
Well, I've had drones doing custom work on my farm here for the last couple of years, and it never ceases to amaze me what these things are capable of. So we've already got our chemical pre-mixed in our tank. We got about 20 acres worth of chemical already mixed up. So all they got to do is turn the pump on and just load the sprayer up. There's no chemical mixing or anything. Just for size comparison, here's our drone that we used to do the video in right here compared to the actual spray drone. Although, look at the propellers. A little bit bigger, but they look the same. And here's one of the batteries for those T40s. Here's one of my batteries for the Mavic 3. As you can imagine, there's a pretty big cost difference too. I think those batteries are somewhere around $2,000 a piece. All right, they're doing a little pre-flight checklist and maintenance, replace the propellers. Alex, what's one of these drones run now? I think they come down in price a little bit the last year or two, just a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. It kind of depends all on what you're after. You can find these T30s quite a bit cheaper used, especially.
Yeah, because they were about $35,000.
Yeah, and new, you're still going to be right up in that price range for your new T40s and T50s. I mean, you'll see them anywhere from, you know, heck, you can find them for probably $12,000, $14,000 used, just the drone setup, but I don't know if I'd want to go buying one of those used. You never know what they've been through.
What kind of life expectancy as far as acres or years do y'all expect out of these?
Really, they should run, so to say, forever, but acres we don't necessarily have a great number on. Years, as long as they aren't wrecked, like I say, you should be able to get a good 5-6 seasons out of them, I would sure think.
I know my DJI Mavic 3 is, there's nothing that I can replace on it myself. What about these as far as maintenance other than propellers, or is it pretty, is this stuff y'all are able to work on, or you got to send it off?
Yeah, so if you can get the parts, you can work on them yourself. We have a guy back home that does some of our service work. Really, just about everything cosmetically is replaceable on them, from these props all the way down to your arms, your spray nozzles. We've had some pumps that have gotten replaced in the past. As soon as you start getting into some of the electrical components on your circuit board and stuff, that's a little more in depth. But as far as your arms and your main wiring and everything like that, that can all be replaced.
Okay. All right, y'all don't tell my wife that her little cheap screwdriver set she bought for the house might save the day.
It might save the day.
Hey, you got a motor that's acting a little wonky, that feels a little rough or whatever?
Yeah, it's got something going on here. You can feel it about every
I can hear it.
rotation it wants to wants to hang up on it. So
are you hoping a seed or something from spreading cover crop might be in there?
yeah, we're gonna pop this cover off, and we should be able to see down in there and see if we got anything hung up in there, or what the deal going on here.
No, that one's too big.
Way too big almost.
I saw a smaller one in there. That one in there, I guess not.
Crap, I thought that one for sure would be it.
Yeah, that's smaller than anything we have.
All right, well, let me call HCI there in Humboldt. They might have a real small Torx bit set. All right, got the cover and everything taken off, and they're hoping, maybe wishful thinking, that it's just a seed that got down in the motor from where there's aerial seed and it's kind of grinding. So turn it upside down, spun it, it's better than it was. Not perfect, but we're going to turn it on, let it sit here and idle for a few minutes, see if
Aircraft preparing to take off. Stand back at a safe distance.
you can hear it grinding a little bit.
I mean, it's
But that ain't a bearing, because it's getting a little smoother.
it's getting smoother. I'd say there's just something stuck up in there, a little probably piece of turnip seed or something that's not grinding up real easy. I'm sure that's about all it could be.
But I really just sprayed it this way, that way we can run down this road runs all the way down the field, and that way we can stay at least that far from it, and it doesn't go down out there, kind of deal.
Right.
But it'd be a hell of a lot more efficient to fly this way.
Alice was telling me it's a lot heavier than that other one.
Yeah, this bigger 40 is definitely a chore compared to that smaller 30. Yeah, if you don't mind.
Adam, the second crew just showed up. We got the first crew. They were finishing up the last field of spraying, and Adam's down here. And what are we looking at? I've never seen a monstrosity like this before.
So this right here is the DJI T40, a little bigger than that T30 that we're running. We got the seed hopper on it. Its payload's a lot bigger than that T30. Goes a little bit faster, gets the job done a little bit quicker.
The T40 holds what, like 50, 60 pounds of seed, or the T30 holds 50 to 60 pounds?
The T30 hold, depending on the density of your seed, to get about 50, 60 pounds. This 40 can get up 80, 90 pounds of seed in it.
All right, so you get a third more spreading in between fill-ups here.
Yes, sir. It definitely gets a little bit more done per trip.
All right. So looks like this one just got 4 props or 4 arms on it.
It's got compared to the 30's got 6 arms on it. The 40 has only 4 arms on it, but props on the top and bottom. So it's got more props, less arms, but it flies just as well.
Now right here, these are the spray tips. They got what, a disc type of a spray tip on them?
Yes, sir. So yeah, there's so this on this 40, it's upgraded from the 30. So with this style, you can actually adjust your droplet size on the go. So the 30's got the T-jet nozzles in it. You can change out those T-jet nozzles for different sizes. These 40s have a disc spreader in there that you actually change that droplet size on the fly as you're going, so you can, you know, make a bigger, denser droplet versus smaller, lighter droplet, of course. But yeah, it's a disc type system that kind of spreads it out more, gets a larger volume area covered at the same time.
Of course, we're not going to be using that part. We're going to be using this part to spread the cover crop speed. So that disc right there, does it rotate as it's going through the field to sling the seed out? Or
yes, sir. So this is just a normal hopper style, like most all your seed spreaders. Hopper in the bottom, which you can change your gate, the width of your gates, your opening on your gates, the speed of your disc speed, the RPMs of it on the fly as well. So as you're flying out there, all that's on the controller. You can change it as you go real easy. So because I got a scale on my seed tender here, we know how many pounds we're putting in, and that tells you how many acres you covered, and you just kind of go from there to fine tune it. Yes, sir. So like the first couple flights, which you can pre-program seeds, but it's just as easy. First couple flights, you get a good hard scale measurement. You calibrate the drone, how much weight it's got in it, and you take off. And you know, today we're shooting for about 60 pounds an acre. So you go off and you take that first flight and put about 60 pounds in your drone and calibrate it so you're hitting 1 acre per 60 pounds, and you roll on from there. All right. Well, daylight's going to be fading soon. Let's get this sucker loaded and in the air. All righty. You ready to fill it up? Yeah, if you want to, you can put 6. If you can shoot for right at 60 pounds. Right at 60 pounds. One sucker puts out some air, might get you to fly over my cotton to dry it out so we can start picking. That sounds perfect to me. Heck yeah. All right, so you can see on the screen here, this screen's a lot bigger than that 30 screen. So you can see it real well. It's flying right down that power line strip right now. Running right up next to them power line. See right there, it got a little closer than it wanted to, but ain't no problem. We'll bump right on past it. So you're spreading at about 15 feet altitude? Yeah, so right here we're sitting
It's bouncing in between about 13.5 and 15 is where it's hovering, real close. Kind of keep an eye on it as we go. We're running at 21 feet per second right now, getting our calibration dialed down. Once we get our calibration dialed down, we'll kick that up to 33 feet per second and fly wide open down that field and really cover some ground.
Gotcha. All right, I'm gonna try and get this segment recorded pretty quick because that sucker's putting out a lot of seed in a hurry. So anyway, like I said, what he's doing is he's spreading the cover crop seed on our double crop soybeans. To mention, I think in a previous video, we had an airplane spread it on the rest of the double crop soybean fields, but we're here in the city limits of Jackson. You see all of these houses there, all these houses here, pilots, cropduster pilots, they don't want to even get in this area. It's not illegal or anything, but all these folks, they see a low flying plane. It don't even matter if they're not even spraying. They see a low flying plane, they call the FFA and report it, and then the cropduster pilot's got a lot of paperwork and other stuff. Even though they're not breaking any kind of laws, it's just a big headache and they just rather not even mess with it. So luckily found Air Grow last year. You know, they do spraying. They also do cover crop seeding and everything. So really glad I was able to partner up with them and get them down here again this year. So we got 110 acres double crop beans here in Jackson that needs to be spread, and that's what they're doing. So anyway, looking at these beans, you can kind of see, you know, we got a yellowish tinge on there. These beans are pretty much done and about to drop leaves, so we're getting the seed spread on there, and then these leaves will fall on top of the seed, and then we get another rain, hopefully have good germination. Ideally, I would have loved to get it done last week before the hurricane, just like we got you know, the crop duster to do the rest of it. Unfortunately, I just wasn't able to get these guys down here before that happened. Probably could have them when we were using the seed tender for you know, drilling cover crops. So you know, we were just limited by equipment. But I'm sure since the dam is burst and we're getting regular rain, so we'll get another regular rain on this seed, and probably I expect to get a pretty good stand. Looking down here, I mean, see seed round spread through here, so it's looking good. And then we get all these leaves to fall off and lay on top of these seed, create a mulch. We get a little bit of rain. With as wet as the soil already is, we ought to get a dang good stand of cover crop here. Give you a glance at these double crop beans. They suffer through a lot of drought, but I mean, they got a good number of pods on there. Not the most I've ever seen, but man, look at those pods. Look how fat they are. You can barely even see, you know, any kind of indentation in between beans. These are going to be some humongous soybeans. Of course, all the rain we've had the last several weeks that's what led to really filling these pods out. So I really don't know what yields are going to be. I expect 40 to 45. There's a chance they might be 45 to 50. I don't think it's going to quite be what it was last year, but I think it's going to be a pretty dang good double crop bean yield, as long as we can get them out before we get too much more rain on them after they mature. All right, we got that done just in time. He's back to fill up. All right, let me kind of show you the setup here. They got a 12,000 watt generator right here, and he's got 5 batteries. We got 2 up here on the charger, one's charging at one time, and then we got 2 here on the ground. So these, you can imagine, these batteries, or the drone's pulling a lot of power out of these batteries. We're pushing a lot of power into the batteries really quick, so you can imagine there's a lot of heat build up. So by rotating 5 batteries, gives them a chance to cool down a little bit in between cycles here. Some of y'all probably asking yourselves, why don't you just drill this cover crop after you cut the beans like you do your corn? And simple reason is timing. If we were to wait to plant our cover crops with a drill after we cut our beans, most likely that would be very end of October, probably the first 2 weeks of November. And what I found is, even though we get a little bit less of a stand with aerial seeding, we actually accumulate more biomass because, you know, it's the very end of September, so we'll get about another month out of the growing season in the fall to accumulate more biomass. You put more carbon in the soil, and it's just, you know, we get better weed control. and everything else. Well, we are a little lacking, especially around the edges of the field as far as stand, but for the most part in the field, I think it does a little bit better job. And then also, you know, with the rains we're seeing, ground doesn't dry out too quickly in November, so there's a very real chance we might actually have a hard time drilling our cover crops after harvest if it stays wet the rest of the fall. So, whew, I can't even catch my breath between fill ups here. All right, we're now down to recycling 4 batteries. I got to phone in a report of crop circles out here in the field. Put a fully charged battery on there and went to the starting point, and the battery voltage just dropped and the thing automatically landed in the field. So we got a nice big round area. We're going to retire this battery here. It's the end of the season. These batteries take an absolute beating, so not really surprising, but luckily it crash landed only about 100 yards out there rather than way over there in the corner. If you've never walked through mature soybeans, let me tell you, it's not very fun. All right, we quickly losing daylight. I think we're going to try and get one more load in, and we'll have to get her finished up in the morning. So how many acres this show us have covered?
Right now we got 28.6 acres completed of this field in total.
All right.
So the good thing about this is it's getting dark on us. We could keep flying, but we'll just pick back up in the morning. And we can close all this down and we'll come back up and pick up in the exact inch where it left off tonight. And we'll keep on rolling tomorrow.
Sounds good. We'll get started back first light in the morning. Another gorgeous day in paradise. Morning rush hours in full swing here in Jackson. We're working on, I don't know what day of just plumb crappy weather. No rain, but cloudy. I mean, you could just see the water in the air, the humidity and everything. Crops are not progressing, not drying out, not getting ready for harvest. Fields not drying out. I mean, it's just another wasted day. So, hopefully we see the sun come out sometime today, because like Kid Rock's saying, well, it's been more than 3 dang days since we've seen the sunshine. So just waiting on the drone guys to get here, and we'll get started trying to get the rest of this cover crop spread. Speaking of the devil, there they are right there. I think they're going to try and get both drones up here and spraying. So we got something like 80 acres left. Hopefully we can get it knocked out in a reasonable time, get on back to shop, get to doing something else. Well, how'd that radio tower farm treat you yesterday?
It was all right. We had to cut. We ended up flying around the outside set of wires, and then it was dark by the time we got done with that. So we weren't able to really get up inside there. But everything else we did, we got underneath the power lines. We were able to go underneath of them. So we got almost all of it covered that we physically could.
Nah, well, the biggest thing is you didn't crash.
Yeah. No, we came out of there still flying. So
got you. There's that sunshine finally peeking out. Maybe things start drying out a little bit now. Well, here's a wild toss that y'all got done earlier today, and I thought you did. You got time to defoliate about 30 acres of cotton?
If you got the chemical, we probably could.
They should have been delivered this morning. I got one field that I ripped about half of it last fall, and she's still going to be soft for the next couple of days, and I really need to get some leaves knocked off of it.
We'll be happy to do it. We're down here and we got time. We'll be happy to do
All right, it's on the way back to the shop. So
Absolutely. Shouldn't be an issue with it.
Absolutely.
all right, before they get spraying my cotton, I got to remove the dry box and spinner off there and put the tank back on to start running liquid again. Let's see how simple of a job it is. Dang, that is pretty easy. Just like that, it's done. Take a few screws out, unplug a couple of wires, pull the dry box off, put the tank back on, replug everything. Yeah, it's that time of year I look forward to every single year. The time that I get to smell cotton defoliant being sprayed. And all I can say is, if you know, you know. Ain't nothing like the smell of Folex. I wish Yankee Candle would put that scent in a candle. I'd buy up every one I could. But ultimately, we want to start defoliating at least a week ago, if not a little bit before that, but just because of the awful weather forecast, hurricane coming up, you know, it didn't make sense to do it. You know, right now we still got pretty much all the leaves on the cotton plants, and those water leaves kind of help protect the cotton that's already open, you know, just shedding water. Now, looking at the cotton, it don't look like it's been protected too much, but trust me, it has. You know, the cotton looks absolutely terrible right now that's already open, but this is we've only seen about 3 hours of sunshine so far after all that rain and then several days of dreariness. And another reason we didn't want to defoliate is, you know, we still got quite a few bowls up here in the top that have yet to open, and the cotton in these bowls is still very high quality, and we didn't want to open up these bowls and expose them to weather with that awful weather forecast. So anyway, we got a pretty good weather forecast coming up. Really no rain in sight for the foreseeable future, so it's time to get the cotton plants to shed all of its leaves and get all these bowls opened up. Now what I'm getting these guys to do is to spray our first pass of defoliant on our cotton. For years we've been doing a 2-pass shot on defoliating our cotton because our cotton can generally be pretty rank with a lot of leaves. The first pass we'll use primarily herbicidal defoliants with a little bit of a hormone defoliant mixed in to basically get the plant to shed all of its leaves. Not kill the plant, but we want to damage these leaves enough to where the cotton plant forms an abscission layer at the base of this stem and causes the plant just to drop the leaf, but it doesn't actually kill the plant. And then once we've dropped the majority of the leaves on here, we'll come back in with another herbicidal defoliant, but a big shot of ethifine, which is a plant hormone, to knock off any remaining leaves that's on the plant, but then also to make all of these bowls open. That's what the ethifine does. Ethifine is produced by several different plants. Well, actually, it's ethylene is produced by several different plants, and ethifine is a form of that hormone that will mature the plant out, open up all the bowls, so that we can come in here one time with our cotton picker and harvest this. Right now, with all that rain, this field's still a little too wet to get our big sprayer in, especially like the center part of the field that we ripped last year. We already put a few ruts in there early season. Ground's still soft. you know, we need to go ahead and get this cotton opening up so we can get a picker in here as soon as possible. So by utilizing the drone on our first 30 acres or so, you know, it'll get that process started that much sooner we can start, that much sooner we can go ahead and get the picker to the field and get started harvesting. And then I'm hoping tomorrow, probably after lunch, maybe it's dried out enough that we can use our big sprayer and defoliate another big chunk of cotton. But you know, by doing it with a drone, I ought to get it started hopefully at least a day earlier. And with the temperatures we got, really warm temperatures, these defoliants ought to work. I know they will work a whole lot better, but they'll also work a whole lot quicker because the cotton is still, you know, trying to actively grow. We're using 3 different active ingredients. We're using Folex, which is a primary herbicide that knocks off mature leaves, but we're also using thiazuron because you can tell with all that rain, this cotton's trying to put back out. And these young tender leaves could be more dangerous to the quality of our cotton crop than anything, because they can bruise and cut and release that chlorophyll real easy and actually stain the lint as it goes through the cotton picker. So that thiazuron is really good about knocking off immature leaves and also preventing the plant from actually putting on more. And then the third active ingredient is Finish Pro 6. It's a mixture of diuron and ethifon, and it's just, like I said, it just kind of speeds the process up and preconditions the plant to go ahead and start opening up all the bolls. And then hopefully here in about, with the weather forecast we got, the temperatures we got, here in probably about 6 days, then we'll come in with our second shot of defoliant, and then hopefully about 7-8 days after that, this cotton will be ready for a picker. Being that these guys are from north central Missouri, they've never defoliated any cotton before because it's just not grown up there. So they was anxious to get into the cotton spraying business. You know, there's a lot of cotton grown in the Boot Hill of Missouri, so they fixed to get their first experience at defoliating cotton. They checked all the labels real carefully, made sure that they were going to be compliant on all the labels, especially the wind speed. We're at about 7-8 miles an hour wind speed. They kind of worried about the job that it would do because it's such a narrow swath. But you know, we're all within label. I told them to send it. So here in a few days, we're going to see just how good a job drone does on defoliating cotton. Based upon what I've seen it do other stuff, I expect to do a pretty dang good job. Man, it looks like he's doing a fantastic job. Let's check some of these lower leaves here. I don't know if y'all can see it or not up there. There's speckles all over that leaf, lower leaf, so it's getting good penetration. All the way down in the plant. Anyway, while he's filling up, show you the cotton a little bit more, but we're looking at about 60 to 70% open bolls, which is about where you want to be. Now, because of the drought, our topmost bolls are a little smaller than what we'd like, but they should be mature. Then looking at the rest of this cotton, I mean, it's just plain old waterlogged. It looks like crap, but with this sun and wind, it'll do a lot of fluffing back out and look close to normal. Well, guys, I gotta get back to the shop. Y'all got it from here?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, I really appreciate y'all coming down here and taking care of this. So are y'all actively expanding, looking for more acres next year?
Oh, yeah.
Who do they need to talk to about getting on the list for next year?
Mr. Nathan Parman's here. He's the one to talk to. He handles all the calls coming in. Gets us set up on the acres we're spraying. So.
All right, y'all spray pretty much any crop and most any chemical within label.
Anything within label that we can aerially apply, we're applying. So.
And depending on the acreage, y'all willing to travel a pretty good long ways?
Oh yeah, we're 5 hours away now, so we definitely get around.
Gotcha. So what's a good phone number to holler at Nathan at?
Let me pull it up real quick.
This day of technology, nobody remembers phone numbers anymore.
It is 636-584-9727. And that's Nathan Parmentier.
Well, guys, I'm gonna end this video here. We got a little bit more cover crop planting to do whenever it dries up, and then we got a lot more cotton defoliating to do, some soybean harvesting to do. We got a lot of good stuff coming up. So hope y'all enjoy this video. Hope y'all learned as much about these drones as I did this video, and appreciate y'all watching. See you in the next one.